You're listening to a download from the outdoorstation.co.uk. Number 570.
Hi and welcome back to the Outdoors Station and the second part of this 5-part series recorded at the recent UK Outdoor Trade Show up in Liverpool during 2024. In the previous podcast, I went into detail about the current PFAS situation and how brands, particularly those based in the US, are already moving forward with changing their processes to accommodate this. In this podcast, we expand on this more because you also have to remember that you can't just ditch your old gear, which potentially includes a PFAS coating, such as clothing, tents, sleeping bags, etc. As many recycling operations, and even those in the UK, will reject these items in an effort to prevent PFAS getting into the water table. So in which case, what are the viable options open to you? Sam Fernando, sales manager at Keela Outdoors, a UK manufacturing brand, are really pushing their legacy project at the moment, not only for their own products, but for other brand garments you might own too.
So Keela, we are a SME, we're a family business. We've been around for over 40 years. The brand was registered in 1989, but we existed before that as a manufacturer. We used to manufacture for other brands since the 1980s. And we specialise in technical, what I would call technical outdoor clothing manufacture. And we very much look at pushing the boundaries of where we go in whatever direction we're doing, whether it's manufacturing of garments, to testing, to also looking at new innovative ways of manufacturing things. The legacy project, I guess what I would like to talk about was it's not started now. This is not a new thing for us. This is something, a lot of things that we've been doing for many, many years. We've not just done it as a marketing kind of gimmick. So 40 years ago when the company was founded, we had a repair centre right from the onset, and we've always had that.
And this is in Scotland? This
is in Scotland, yeah, in Glenrothes. So we had that facility set up so people could send their jackets back to us when they had a misfortune. We actually call it the Keela Clothing Hospital. And they can get their garment repaired, refurbished, or whatever needs done. And we've, for many, many years, we've had people sending our jackets back, and sometimes they're decades old. And people form a real emotional attachment to their garments. You know, it's been on all these marvellous adventures for them. And they don't want to get rid of their garment if it's got a hole or if it's got patches or whatever. So it means they can send it back to us, and we can give them a jacket back that's probably functionally as good as new, and quite often, you know, looks cool as well, because, you know, when you put the patches on, we can do it in innovative ways. We can replace panels, we can make the patch look like, you know, quite a cool feature of the jacket. Sometimes we can put like pockets on and things like that to disguise areas. And yeah, it carries on, and it can carry on its journey with its owner.
So how has it developed, and now it's under a title, how has it developed into the name?
Oh, the legacy project. So we were looking, and it's been quite a long process of looking at this and looking at different ways that we can do things. So we've always had, for example, in the and manufacturers, and anybody that's a manufacturer or worked in the manufacturing industry will know this, you know, we're very, very tight, you know, we're very economical, nothing goes to waste, everything's reused. And you know, so we'll have in the manufacturing units is where you get the scrap bits of fabric, and our consumptions are very good when we do cutting, but again, all those bits are reused if they can, or we do something with them. And we're very, again, being a manufacturer, very innovative with how we do things. So when we look at the legacy project, there's 7 different areas that we look at. Repair, we've already talked about. Recycle, we do as well, and we offer that to a lot of our contract accounts, our outdoor professionals. And that's also now rolling out to the general consumer and retailers. We do what we call reclaim, where we can reclaim back fabrics from maybe garments, and we can turn it, which is also part of our déjà vu, turn it into different other products. And this is almost, it's like a philosophy. If we look at our older generation, our kind of grandparents or parents, they never used to throw anything away. They used to reuse things. They used to turn it into something else. If a T-shirt had come to the end of its lifespan, they didn't chuck it in the, in the bin or put it wherever. They would cut it up and make like rags out of it and use it, and it would be used for another year in that sort of form. And that's a kind of déjà vu part of it, where we can take garments, and we've open sourced this, so it's not just our garment. It's trying to get that philosophy to kind of reuse things again, that you can be anybody's garment. And we've got these patterns open sourced on our website, and there's how to do videos as well. And nobody needs to be a seamstress. It's really, really easy to do some of these things. And if you can think about a garment like a jacket, if you look at it, it's got like pockets and it's got seams. Just looking at it as it is, it's really simple that you can look at that and think, well, actually, if I just take that panel there, I've got the basis of a really cool bag with a pocket already inbuilt into it, and it's going to look cool. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we've done. So people can use the open source material, or they can send their treasured jacket back to us, and we'll turn it into something for them. So, I've just got some examples here. We've got things like wash bags, we've got a baby's bib, there's a little rucksack, there's a little dog jacket here.
Nice.
Yeah. And again, all of this is already there in a garment. A lot of the stitch work's already done. Yeah. So it doesn't take very much to convert it into something else that then you can continue its journey and your adventures with your...
Yeah,
your
and everything's got a story attached to it. So, I mean, does this cost, is there a set price to these things, or is there a generic way you work it out?
So the open source is free. Somebody just needs to go onto the website, click download, and they'll get the patterns. Okay. And there's YouTube videos as well, so they can actually watch how some of these items are made. We're starting that conversation with people because, when we started this and we had the various designers look at it, and, once you let your imagination go, you're like, oh my, you start looking at garments in a different way, and you're like, it's almost like looking at... like different cuts of meat, I guess, of going, oh yeah, I can make a bag out of that. Oh, actually, that would make a really good dry bag. If you take a sleeve of a garment, you can just sew up at the bottom. There's an automatic dry bag almost straight away. So, it's free and it's there, and people can do what they want. If they want us to convert it into something, there is various items on the website with a price tag associated with it, and it's manufactured in our factory in Glenrothes, which is a supported business, which is we try and give employment to people with a disability or disadvantage in life.
Okay. And so taking this a stage further and actually talking about the products generally, you've got the same philosophy, obviously, as you've just mentioned, that you're happy to have products back to repair and refurbish and give people a longer lifespan. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a very interesting set of data which came from Polygene, and the green footprint, if we want to call it that in that sort of terminology, of a garment, only 30% of it, that green footprint, is in the actual purchase of the garment. The rest, and it does depend on the garment and how you use it, the rest is actually in how you look after that garment, how you wash it, how you care for it, how long you use it for, and eventually how you dispose of it. So actually, looking after a garment, caring for it, you don't need to wash a garment. We're very much a generation that tends to wear something once and then put it in the washing machine, and you don't need to do that. So looking after your garment correctly, doing the washing when needed, the repairing when needed, the reproofing when needed, making that garment last as long as possible, is actually the most, is a very green thing to do, if that makes sense. Rather than that kind of throwaway kind of mentality that seems to be, kind of slipping into, I guess, day-to-day life,
Yeah, I mean, certainly there's been a lot of talk about the circular economy this particular few days, and you're obviously enthusing about the same thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's what our grandparents had. This is nothing new. It's just trying to, bring that back into kind of our own philosophy. But we've kind of lost that. We've lost that kind of connection to I guess what our previous generations did.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it has to be said it's a bit of an age thing, isn't it? I mean,
I wasn't going to say that. I was like, diversity.
Well, it's true, isn't it? True. I remember my
absolutely.
mother, darning and sewing, and she taught me the basics of that. Before you leave home, before you're 18, you'll be able to do this, this, and this. And it's like, oh, mother. But now I actually recognise the fact that it's saved me a lot of money over the years, just being able to repair things.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you've got children that don't know how to sew on a button. And yet every shirt that you buy in the UK will always have a spare button somewhere. And yet, people don't know how to sew on a button. So you'll get people that would just throw that shirt away sometimes, So, trying to, I guess, there's nothing complicated. There's no real skills in a lot of these sorts of things. Well, there is, but it's skills that's quite easily to pick up. You just need to pick up a needle and thread, and it's fairly easy to learn. It's like being able to iron a shirt, and again, just trying to change the way we view the world and change the way we think and change the way that we operate and view clothing, rather than the kind of cheap, Primark type, idea type thing. Yeah,
indeed. So there's the other thing that has been talked about, and obviously is affecting the outdoors industry, or the outdoor industry is generally picking up on it sooner than other industries, should we say, is the whole PFCs, PFAS situation. Is that affecting you at all? Because presumably you're selling into the US market as well.
It's a very complex and very difficult situation, and it's something that, as with all of us, I think the all outdoor industry is, as a group, and it's really nice to see as an industry that we're all trying to work towards getting to a better place. And certainly as a company, that's what we're trying to do as well. We're working on it quite hard. But yeah, there's no easy fixes out there. It's a long journey of seeing what is working and what's effective without greenwashing. And that's a really important thing. It's really easy to say, oh, we're doing such and such, and actually that's not appropriate. We've all got to do more and do better, and keep working and keep improving.
We all have favourite items still in the wardrobe, which are probably past their best and not quite as reliable outdoors as maybe they once were, but we still can't let them go. So why not get inspired by visiting KeelaOutdoors.com, that's KEELA outdoors.com, to see if you can put some life back into them using their legacy project. While you're there, Keela have also very generously given listeners of the Outdoors Station a 20% discount code, which is KEEOS20. And you can use that on any items in their range, and it will be live until the end of September 24. So thanks very much to Keela for doing that for us. Now, changing direction completely, it was a little bit of a surprise to see the well-known computer brand Acer at the show, with an extensive range of electronics on display. However, as you'll hear, it is probably a natural expansion of their consumer electronics division, and as Darren Callow, UK Business Development Manager, explains, it's likely to be just the beginning.
Acer is, as people will know, pedigree of PC for many, many years, and we've continued to grow that. But that market's become more challenging. It will not continue to grow in the fashion it has. Mobile phones, etc., are taking over some of that space. So we have been diversifying over the years to look at how we can become more of a lifestyle brand and take new products into the marketplace, using our heritage in battery, using our heritage in power, using our heritage as a PC manufacturer, but taking that into new products that we'll take out into the marketplace. And that's what we'll talk about today.
Okay, let's just work from big to small then, because I can see you've got a range of products here which fit all categories. And power stations, portable power stations seem to be a big thing, particularly with the camper van market, I guess, and caravan market and so on. So that's a nice little neat unit. I'm sure you're going to tell me all about it.
I'm going to tell you all about it. So it's a 600 watt device, which I like to call the festival kit. So you're going away for a weekend, you're going to the beach, you're going to the park, the lake, and you want to take your cool box and keep it chilled. You want to take your radio along or your smart speaker, and you want to be able to plug that in and utilise it. It comes with two DC and 2 AC ports. It has 4 USBs, 2 A's, 2 C's, plus a cigar lighter. But there's also a light with various modes there. So if you're camping in the evening, you have some lights that you can use on that. That comes in at $499. It uses lithium iron phosphate, which is the latest in lithium ion technology, which is the safest form of lithium ion. There's has been some bad press around batteries and fires. This is the safest one, so we're bringing that in. So you can trust Acer and the brand that what we're putting into these devices is the safest in the marketplace.
Okay, so just to give people an idea of the sort of size, we're looking probably the size of a sort of small battery, really, aren't we? Small car battery.
Small car battery,
A neat finish, nice little dial on the front, and 2, as you say, 2 standard UK 3-pin sockets, as well as a good carrying handle to transport it from A to B. Fairly durable sort of
very durable
build?
Very durable build. Yeah, it's encased in durable plastic. Wouldn't recommend dropping it, but it's as durable as it can.
What's the weight feel like? Oh yeah, it feels like the weight of a car battery.
Yeah, it's very carryable. You can also accessorise and continue to charge it by purchasing a separate solar panel, a 100-watt solar panel. It will actually work with 200-watt as well. But they're Acer specific. 100-watt solar panel is £199, so you can plug that in and continue to keep the device charged when you're out in the daytime.
And do you have any idea of how long that panel would take to charge this?
Don't have exact data on it at the moment, but we've got that coming through from head office very shortly. We're just getting ready to launch these, so I'll be able to share that at a later date.
Okay, so that's the smaller of the two, I can see that.
Yeah.
Rather than go on to that one now, let's go to the other end of the scale. This is a rather interesting device, and did you win the award here at the Outdoors?
We'll find out at 6 o'clock.
Oh, it's tonight, of course.
Tonight,
yes.
yeah. So we'll find out at 6, but it is nominated, so we're obviously very, very pleased about that. So this is our Enduro M3. It is a 5G portable hotspot, but it's one with a difference because you can buy a cheap Wi-Fi device which you'll plug into your laptop, a dongle, or a lot of people will call it, and that will do the job. This is a Wi-Fi portable device, 5G or 4G, depending on the network strength in the area you're in, with 2 different ways to connect. Number 1, old school. You pop a nano SIM in there and you use it in that way. That will give you, if you're on an O2 contract, wherever you are in the country, you can use that O2 network. The challenge we have in this country is not all the networks as well in different parts, particularly more remote. So if you're out walking or if you're out canoeing, kayaking, whatever it might be, you might not get a decent O2 signal. So this has some really clever tech on it called the virtual SIM by a company called Simo, which is embedded into the device. So you will go into the device, you can see it's got a nice LED screen here. You'll click for a smart scan. That will find the quickest 5G or 4G, depending on the strength of the signal, plan in that area or brand in that area, and will give you the opportunity to connect to that. You can then buy data in various different data packages, ranging from a couple of pounds up to monthly data plans that you can use. It's actually a very good product. It is drop protected, it is dust protection, it's IP54 as well, so it's rain protected as well. Very, very good bit of kit. Great for the outdoor community, great for camper vans, 16 devices, so you can all get involved and connect to it, but also very, very good for travellers.
And in fact, the one key thing you haven't mentioned is it's got a built-in battery.
Well, yes, but the battery's built in, but you can't charge any devices from it at the moment.
No, but for somebody that wanted an all-in-one item, they didn't have to plug extra cables in and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
You've got a durable item, the size of an iPhone, really.
Yeah.
That will give you a lot of features. But that scanning to see the best signal has got to be a real winner.
Yeah, we think it's a real winner, and the feedback. So with the retailers that are selling it already, the reviews are very, very good. So it's the smart signal, the ability to find that strongest network when you're in a remote area, or even just in an area where your particular brand, Vodafone as an example, might not work too well. To have that capability to connect via here is a godsend for many people.
Sure, and I think it's 6,450 milliamps, am I right?
Correct, yes.
So how long would that last?
That will not, well, when it's not being used, it will last for several days, but you'll get a good 18 hours of usage out of that.
Fantastic. And what was the price point on that?
£299 English pounds.
Which, when you compare to other LTE modems, just modems alone,
it's very reasonable.
That's very affordable, isn't
Very,
it?
very reasonable indeed. There are actually a range of 5G standalone modems, not portable MiFi ones, coming out from Acer as well very, very shortly.
That Enduro N3 portable modem really ticks a few boxes for me in many ways. LTE, 4G, 5G, built-in battery, and it'll just search for the strongest signal, and you can buy just as much data as you need for a particular job. A really, really neat little product. So you'll find there's more information in the links in the show notes, or of course if you go straight to acer.com. So let's face it, repair is really where we should be looking first before letting go of our gear. And Paul Kersons, the COO of United Repair Centre, had a small team on their stand actually repairing items over the few days that many of those attending the show, myself included, had brought along with them.
So we started in 1st of July 2022, so we've only been around for a couple of years. It started with the idea post-COVID together with the Amsterdam Economic Board on how we could build back better, basically. And Amsterdam is quite a bit of a fashion headquarters hub. So one of the focus areas of the municipality of Amsterdam was how can we make the fashion industry more sustainable, and they approached us because we had a sister company called Makers Unite, which was doing upcycling productions, and then we came up with the idea of repair, like the opportunity of repair to make the industry a little bit more sustainable. We approached Patagonia, who is headquartered in Amsterdam as well, and they've been doing repairs for a long time, and we approached them and said like, hey, why don't we do repairs for you? We'll make it social, because we have a strong social mission, and we'll make it an open blueprint so that other brands can sort of leverage your experience that we then build up together, so we can create a repair movement. And that's what happened. They said yes, and since then we've been repairing away, so to speak.
Well, how are you finding the response from sort of standard brands that perhaps have never advertised the fact that they repair anything?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's our bigger mission to promote the repair movement or the reuse movement, basically. So whether brands or retailers do it with us or with someone else, I think there's ample of room and growth for many, many service providers. But yes, we are here to spread the word and showcase that repair is actually an opportunity instead of a replacement or buying new. And yes, if we find retailers or brands that want to work with us, we're happy to help, of course.
Yeah, of course. What is the response like?
It's actually quite good. I think over the past 2 years, I usually tell a story that the first time we went to ISPO, which is obviously the outdoor in München, was 3 years ago. Nobody wanted to talk about repairs. There was no interest whatsoever. Now, 3 years down the road, and also here at the OTS, there is like very much interest into offering repair and circular solutions. And we experience it here. There's many brands and retailers coming up asking like, how does it work? Can we offer this as well? How does the financial case look like? What's the benefit? So there is definitely quite some interest. It's still pioneering. I would say, whereas maybe 30, 40 years ago it was quite common to get your clothes repaired. It's gone out of our system. So for now, it's an immature market, and there's still lots of challenges and things to discover. But there is a lot of interest and a growing demand.
Yeah. So I understand you're based in Amsterdam, but you've got a London office now, or a London repair centre.
Correct.
And you're also quite a social enterprise in the sense that you're taking people who have perhaps not had any training in this sort of industry and teaching them how to repair.
Yeah, that's correct. So we are indeed a social enterprise where we have a mission to employ people with a distance to the labour market. So that could be either people with a refugee background or physically or mentally challenged, youth at risk. And we hire them either with experience, because it is also the case that finding good tailors in Western European countries is quite hard. And a lot of the countries where the refugees are coming from are traditional production companies. So they have the skills of production behind the machine. We sort of retrain them to become repair experts instead of production, because there is a little bit of difference obviously there. And if we also hire people without any experience, and that's where we set up our repair academy for. So we have like a 12-month curriculum learning on the job so that they can actually learn how to become a repair expert. They get a certified diploma at the end of the 12 months, and then we give them a job guarantee, but if they want to take their diploma to someone else, that's also fine.
That's brilliant. Yeah. And what sort of numbers have you got working for you? How many people now?
So currently in Amsterdam we have approximately 25 people in the production line, so both logistics, quality control and actual the repair manufacturing. In London it's sort of going up and down a little bit, but it's approximately 5 people currently, and we started 6 months ago, and that's growing month on month more or less.
Right, and have you any idea what sort of numbers of garments that you repair on a weekly basis perhaps?
Yeah, so Amsterdam we are currently at approximately 600-700 repairs a week. London we are currently at about 150 to 200. And again, it like month on month, it's growing. It's kind of based on seasonality. So now we're moving into the summer period. It's slowing down a little bit, but definitely winter peak is coming. And we just onboard new brands every month, right. And that adds on new volume as well.
Sure. So is it predominantly clothing, or do you do equipment as well, bags and rucksacks, that sort of thing?
Yeah. So anything that's some sort of textile base, we can repair. So tents, backpacks, sleeping bags, and obviously all apparel as well.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So if people are interested in dealing with you direct, is it best to go straight to your website? Do you have a routine that you go through?
Yes, so for now we only work together with brands and retailers, so not yet open to customers directly. We will implement it at some point, but for now we want to make sure that we have consistent volumes of similar type of goods to get the hang of it and sort of build up the process. Once we are at that level, and in Amsterdam we're almost about to open it up, we'll open up to customers directly so they can bring in their outdoor or high-tech gear. Probably UK will be end of this year.
Okay. So what you're really saying is that UK customers, if they are listening to this and they have a product they want repairing, they need to nag their brand or their supplier to contact you.
Exactly, that's exactly the case, yeah. Or wait for a little while and then send it in to us directly. But promoting and advising their brand to offer repair solutions would definitely be a good idea.
Currently, as Paul stated, they are only servicing brands and retailers. However, by the end of the year, if everything goes to plan, consumers can contact them directly. Incidentally, they did have a Montane Superfly jacket of mine, which is probably best part of 10 years or more old, where all the shock cord and the Velcro had failed, and they made a superb job of repairing it. So I'll certainly recommend them for people in the future. So check them out, that's unitedrepaircentre.com, and keep them in your favourites. Finally, I met up with another SME cottage manufacturer, the Intrepid Explorer, created by Clavina Wells, who has slowly been doing the never-ending one-woman job of creating her product range and building her brand at the same time.
I'm an adventurer and a camper myself, and one of my biggest bugbears was my toiletry bag, always full of full-size products, and even when you use the camping-size products, they always seem to run out just when you don't need them to run out. So during COVID, I decided to pivot, and I qualified as an organic skincare formulator, and I decided to formulate some products specifically for the outdoor industry, so that we would look after nature, basically, without putting a lot of chemicals back into the system.
Okay, so what were the three areas that you were looking at?
Well, the biggest problems in any wash bag is your shampoo, your conditioner and your body wash. They take up the most space, and generally they're 90% water. So I always thought to myself, why carry water when I'm generally going to a place that has water? If it doesn't have water, we will generally be carrying drinking water with us. So my hero product is a powdered hair and body wash. I didn't find any on the industry, and so I decided to invent my own.
Okay, a powdered one, that sounds interesting. So, first of all, is this sold in little sachets or a big box or what?
It's sold in a 60ml tube, and in that tube you'll get 110 washes. So you need very little. It's less than a quarter of a teaspoonful to do a full body wash, and you just have to activate it with very little water to get your foam. The more you activate, the more suds you get.
Okay, so but I presume you were talking about using these in like a shower block or something.
Yes, you can also use them in rivers and streams, and the beauty of them is because they're natural, they're going to have no effect on the flora and fauna in the river and streams or even the sea. We have tried it with salt water and it works just as well.
Oh, excellent. Oh, that's a good one by the sound of it. So what this has obviously led into some other products then?
Yes, well, we didn't want to come to market with just one product. So we had a look at sunscreen because obviously a lot of sunscreens have a lot of reef safe type ingredients in them, so we have formulated the sunscreen to not only be a sunscreen but also to be a moisturiser at the same time. So our ethos is that we've got you covered 24/7, 365. So when you wake up in the morning, you'll put on your sunscreen obviously, and in there's a built-in moisturiser, so you don't need to carry extra moisturiser with you. You go through your day. In the evening you have your shower with the body wash or wash in the stream, and then for the evening we've got an insect repellent that's also got a moisturiser in it. So in 3 simple products we've got you covered for the full day.
Okay, so looking at the insect repellent this time, what insects are we referring to? Ticks, mozzies, whatever, what are we referring to?
Well, the beauty of it is we've got an active ingredient in there which is also a natural ingredient. It is lab made now, for sustainability, but it covers ticks, horseflies, mosquitoes, and even the great Scottish midgie.
Oh, the midge, that dreaded wee beastie.
Yes, yeah, we got confirmation last week from a customer of ours up in Scotland who said she had tried it with 2 of her friends out on a dog walk, and whilst they could see the midges all around them, they weren't bitten, not once.
Well, that appeals to me because I attract them like a magnet.
That's what she said.
Yeah. So none of these are alcohol-based then, or have got parabens or anything that's anti-environmental?
No, we've gone purely for the environment. So all the ingredients come from nature, and our byline being from nature for nature, because that's what we want to look after.
Okay, so just coming back to the powdered one again, which I think is quite fascinating. I'm thinking of people that perhaps are camping, so they're in a small environment, and obviously some people use wet wipes, which we're trying to discourage, and find other products to give themselves a wash or to freshen up, should we say. Yeah. So could you just take a less than a teaspoon, a dab of it, shall we say, moisten it with a cloth, with one of these towels, and then rub yourself down with it? Would that have the same effect?
Yes, you can use anything really. Obviously, like I said before, the more vigorous you activate it, the more suds you will get. It will work if you just use your hands. I have a system that I use. I put it in my left hand, the powder, I wet my right hand, and then I just activate my left hand like it's a bar of soap. So I can wash other parts of my body, and when it starts running out per se, I go back to my left hand and I just reactivate it a little bit more, and then do the next leg and the next leg, and then obviously you can just wash it off when you're finished, so you don't have to deal with a nice soggy bar of soap.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you're inside a tent, you haven't got the space to wash up afterwards, so something you can wipe down with a towel or whatever is all you want, all you really want, actually.
Yes, yeah. But the good thing about it is it doesn't just push the dirt around. It actually gets rid of it. I always worry, like when you're using wet wipes and things like that rather than actually cleaning the dirt off you, because you're not rinsing, you're just actually moving the dirt from one place to another. You're going from left to right. Yeah. Whereas with mine, because it's so lightweight, the powder, the whole tube only weighs 31 grams. So you can actually, we've had customers that go to like the places like India, where they either just put it in their pocket or in their handbag, and they've got endless hand washers wherever they are, just as long as they have access to a little bit of water.
Sure. I mean, maybe it's asking too much, but what are the sanitising properties?
Well, what we're using at the moment is, funny enough, one of our saponins in there actually comes from the camellia seed. So when the organic beauty industry crushes the seeds to get oil, which is very much used in organic beauty, what was left was the husks of the seeds. They actually discovered that there were saponins being the soap part of it. So the bit that actually washes you and cleanses you and gets rid of all the nasties. So what they did is they dried them out and they ground them down. And that's actually one of the saponins that's in our product, to help keep you clean, really, and actually just get rid of any nasties that are floating around on your skin.
Okay, so you mentioned India. I was thinking it's an ideal example of somewhere where if you're travelling, you don't necessarily have access to clean water or clean cleaning products, shall we say, and you do get dirty and dusty.
Yes. Yeah, well, that's the lovely thing about it, is that even with most people in a country like India where it's really hot, you're going to buy bottled water because you trust it. You might not necessarily just go to your nearest tap because you don't know where the water source is. So even with your bottled water, it's not going to take much to activate the product. You'll probably spend more water in trying to rinse it off, or you can just wipe it off if you need to. But what's also nice is because of the way we've made the formulation, and because it's for your hair as well, there's like a conditioner in it, which is almost like a moisturiser for your skin. So when you're finished washing, you will find that your skin is beautifully soft as well. So dual benefit again. Obviously, we've only got the 3 products now, and they are proving to be quite popular, so we are hoping to go back into R&D. So if anybody has got any particularly difficult cosmetic problems, we would love to hear about them, because that's what we do. We like to innovate and solve problems. That's how the initial Intrepid Explorer products came about.
I'm sure that powdered hair and body wash will appeal to many female listeners in particular. It certainly has numerous applications for either adventuring, travelling, or in a grab bag in the back of the car. You can find her products in some online stores, but if you visit her website directly, theintrepidexplorer.co.uk, Clavina has set up a promo code just for the Outdoor Station listeners, which is TOS20, and you'll get 20% off any of her range until the end of September 2024. Like I've said before, please take a few moments to follow up some of these links and codes. These have been set up specifically for the Outdoor Station listeners, so share a little outdoor love, and even if you don't buy anything, please drop them a note and say where you heard about it. Okay, so that's the end of part 2 in this 5-part series. As always, a little bit of feedback, social comments, subscribing and sharing with your outdoor buddies would be greatly appreciated. Now, the algorithms are really limiting exposure for all creatives these days, and so I would be very grateful if you could spread the Outdoor Station message far and wide amongst your contacts. Thanks again to all my guests, and especially those who have created promo codes and discounts for all the Outdoors Station listeners. Please follow them up in some way, guys. Would appreciate it. Okay, so until next time, folks, you know what's coming next. Take care out there, and bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. To hear or see more from our extensive free library, please visit theoutdoorstation.co.uk.